Go suffer and tell people all the lessons you learned along the way, and people will respect you knowing that you've been through something which is difficult. Respect has always lied on the other side of fear. It still does right now. The reason we all watch the big boxing match and have so much respect for the men who get in there is because it's scary to do. And even if you don't cerebrally sit and think, I would be scared to fight in Madison Square Gardens in front of all these people, well then go sign up for a fight and you'll learn very quickly that you are scared, because now you've even just started training for it. You're nowhere near the event and you're nervous all the time and you don't want to do it because it's terrifying. Respect lies on the other side of fear. So people are going to respect you if you do things that they'd be scared to do themselves. Yeah. And then they're going to say, well, I don't want to go through that because that sounds scary. That sounds terrible. Let me at least try and get the lessons from it. And he's going through it so I can learn from his experience, or I can learn from his mistake. I think as AI, we're talking about them replacing salesmen. Well, AI could replace a lot of personal brands too now. ChatGPT is pretty good. Some people are so basic and so vaporous and so thin that ChatGPT could talk the same kind of garbage they talk. Unless you have some suffering to anchor to, how can you have any kind of personal brand at all? And maybe I'm just talking from my own experience because my brand is built on pain and suffering, and maybe I'm trying to cope my way for having all the bad things happen to me that have happened to me. But if I didn't have them all, I don't know what I'd talk about.
Would people listen? Would people care?
But what would I talk about? I have a fast car? Okay, I have a fast car. But the coolest thing about me having a fast car is I grew up with absolutely nothing. The coolest thing about me having a fast car is that they tried to take it off me and threw me in a dungeon. The coolest thing about me having a fast car is when I'm gonna get back in it after they failed to seize it off me when I was on an Interpol red notice for garbage. That's the cool part of it. Yeah. Without the dark, there's no light.
Yeah. It's not valuing today, it's investing today for tomorrow's betterment. And that's what we're fucking doing here. Smart. Mindset first. Mind controls this shit. If we don't know what the fuck we're doing and we're just going through it because this person's doing a ball face, and we're just going through the motions, you're always gonna end up fucking average and middle of the heat. Unremembered. Stop that shit. I live in a maintenance phase, guys. So don't get these confused. You know, if you're going to a business meeting, you put a fucking suit on. You don't put a suit on to go to the beach. You adjust to situations. Different diet regimes produce different results. Therefore, you adjust to that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'll say, oh, Greg says 1 meal a day, but then in the fucking video blog, he's saying, oh, 7 to 8 meals a day. I don't quite understand it. That's because you're a fucking idiot. That's because you're looking for an excuse in life for why you haven't achieved anything. You don't have any responsibilities, so turn this fucking TV off. Don't watch anymore, because I don't want you to fuck on my site. Because you don't have it up here. You must have it up here if you want it down here, guys. You must be smarter than the average person. You know, you can't force your way through shit. When I was wrestling and everything else, yeah, I was stronger than most of the guys. But what really got me is, you know, to be 3-time state champ and, you know, #2 in the nation and stuff, and never not a point scored on me to the finals nationals, wasn't because I forced the guy into, you know, the move. It's because I set him up and he did the move for me without even knowing it. I snap his head down, so he comes up, I'm coming under, he's reacting. Dude, he just it looks like too easy. That's what we're doing with our diets. Once we know where we want to go, we have the information, then we can control our body to make sure it's efficient. We're not just trying to bust through walls to get outside. We just open the fucking door.
I got about 5 o'clock. I woke up and saw you chilling out and shit. Saw the fucking dog all fucking hung over from treats and shit. I thought to myself, that fucking dog is lucky we feed it. About myself, I gotta feed myself. And every foot strike that hits the pavement, that's how I feed myself. Motherfuckers look for inspiration. Inspiration's found in every footstep you take, every grasp of that fucking iron bar, all that shit, all the miles in the pool. Inspiration's found in suffering. So right now, this is my greatest recovery. As I recover, I find inspiration. Stay hard.
You need the juxtaposition to even enjoy anything at the top anyway, so I'm so glad for the bad times. There's nothing fun about being rich besides talking about when we're poor. The only point in buying a $10,000 steak is so you can sit with your brother and go, this is not worth 10 grand. I can't believe we spent 10 grand on this. We never had 10 grand in our savings account, ever. And then we can both laugh about how poor we were. Otherwise, why be rich? If you were born rich, I think being born rich would be one of the worst experiences. I think one of the worst lives.
I think so.
Because you have nothing, you're never going to truly ever appreciate or respect money. Money's never going to make you happy. You're never going to have those stories to compare anything to. You're just going to expect for everything to be done for you. And if heaven forbid something goes wrong and then you end up poor, you won't be able to deal with it. Imagine being rich till you're like born rich and you're rich your whole life. I'm talking about you've been on private jets as a kid, your parents had money, and then at 42 it all goes wrong and now you're a brokey. How would you even handle that mental shift of I can't pay the council tax? Imagine it. Like I don't think you could be prepared to ever go broke. I don't think you'd appreciate anything. If you look at all these rich kids who go to these rich schools or these politicians' kids or whatever, they're all drug addicts, they're all weirdos. It's just, I don't think it's a healthy mind model to be born and just be spoiled. What do they say in the Matrix? They say the reason we have recreated the world at the end of 1999, the first Matrix was a utopia and the human mind rejected it. When we made everything perfect, you didn't want it. The human mind rejected it and you wouldn't listen. We had to give you all this struggle and all these problems for you to accept the program. I think it's the same. If you were born rich, I think it'd be an awful existence. I don't think you'd ever, what are you struggling for? What are you working for? What are you striving for? For what? You don't, and I think a man is different when he gets to that position where he has no safety net and he has to pull it off. You've been there, I've been there. I have to pay the rent. Oh, I have to pay the rent, let me borrow from dad. I have to pay the rent, let me borrow from dad. No, like I have to, tomorrow I need $2,000. Today I have fucking zero. There's nobody I can borrow from. And that's a small example. There's been much bigger examples. I don't want to say in a podcast. You're a different kind of man when you've had to pull it off and you've suffered the consequences of failure, or you find a way to pull it off. It's not the same if you just call daddy, is it?
And so the thing is that we're exceptionally good at giving advice and very bad at following it for ourselves. And so what's interesting is that they actually did studies on this where they had people, they whitewashed someone's existing circumstances and their conditions and had the same people, not knowing they were criticizing themselves, give critiques to this person on what to do to improve their lives. And the thing is that none of the people were actually doing it. And so the thing is, I like that frame because if you project yourself into the future and look back and say, okay, what would 80-year-old version of me tell me to do? For some reason, it kind of like disembodies yourself a little bit, and you can get back and say, well, I would tell myself to do this, this, and this. And the thing is that you have complete context on your situation. And so sometimes it's some of the best advice you can get. And I know this is kind of like the inverted thing where you're like, oh, well, I just actually go through the process and say, I'm gonna write down a conversation with myself that's 80 years old. What would he or she tell me to do? And it probably is that obvious list that no one does, not the magical list that no one knows. Because the thing is that like the clues of success are in plain sight. It's just that the sweat that's required, the price tag associated with them is the one that people don't want to pay. So people don't really give up on their dreams. They give up, they see what it takes to get their dreams and then decide it's too expensive. And I think that's the big thing is they think it's mispriced. And maybe it is, and I think that's okay. But my preference would be that many people say, you know what? That's not worth it to me. And then be like, great, you've won. Like you've won. You don't need to get anywhere. You've already won where you're at.